Oh, hi. I was just counting all the money I've earned playing guitar for people online. There's just so much of it. So you're interested in making money doing online recording sessions. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So none of us have got any gigs anymore because of coronavirus. Thank you very much. Some signs of it coming back, but not looking great, is it? I know I'll make a living. I'll start making money recording my instrument for people in their recording projects and doing it remotely because I've got an interface, I've got a laptop, I've got my guitars and everything here, or my instrument. I'll try and not make this just guitar specific, but that I may well refer to it quite a bit since that's what I do. So it seems to make sense. Let's try and make some money out of it. How easy is it? What can we expect from it? How much do we charge? Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get into the blah, blah, blah of this with you. This video sounds exciting, doesn't it? I've been doing this for 10 years or so. I started off by making a website, put a load of keywords in: online session guitarist, London guitarist, session guitar tracks in London, session guitarist, remote, online session, etc., etc. Eventually, I think it was a year or two, started getting emails through from people asking me to record guitars for them. Lots of emails from people who were not prepared to pay the kind of fees that I was asking. I'll come on to fees in a little bit. But I began to do it, began to pick up the work. The standard got higher and higher, and years later doing some pretty good stuff, and I think I'm reasonably competent at it. How do we actually go about building a career in this? Well, the first question is, do you really want to do that? You need to be happy with working alone. You need obviously to be very tech savvy and not get bored with recording. You need to know how to kind of mix your instrument a little bit so you're sending people tracks that sound good. And you need to be okay with working without supervision and interpreting people's requests effectively. And I'll come back to that in a bit, because you can spend a lot of time going round and round in circles and not making any good money. As I say, I did it with a website and search terms. There might be other ways of doing it. Perhaps Instagram, there are people on there that are just so good that random people are going to see you play and they're going to send you a request for you to play on their stuff. Reputation, friends of friends, recommendations, that sort of thing, that also plays a part in it. But in terms of actually attracting business from random people, you're going to have people searching Google, and I suppose now also people searching YouTube. If you're one of those people and you want to book a guitarist for a session, so you've built the website, you've got a show reel, you need a show reel, you need to have tracks so you can show people what you've done. I would suggest working with other musicians on something that sounds brilliant and shows you in your best light. I think maybe doing cheap sessions or things that are done by sort of artists that you've done for I'll do it for 50 quid or whatever. Those sessions might not sound that amazing, and you really need to show yourself in your best light. So you've got a website, you've got a show reel, someone gets in touch, says, I love you, you're great. Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? If someone just got in touch to say, I love you and you're great. So someone gets in touch and they send you the track and they say, how much is this going to be? Don't mug yourself off. If you do sessions, I'm kind of a bit laissez-faire really in life generally. I'm like, people find your own ways. We all find our own path through life, and that's fine. I'm an advocate for our own autonomy. But what I will say is, if you charge people 50 quid or less, or maybe even 80 quid or 100 quid starts to get reasonable for me. But if you're charging people 50 quid to do a guitar session, a proper set of recording guitars to a professional or near professional standard, you're mugging yourself off, because that is the value that they will ascribe to your guitar work. If you charge somebody £150 and someone else is charging £50, clients will assume that because your price is higher, they'll assume that you have greater experience, that your time is more valuable, and that they're going to get a better product. If you undervalue yourself, then you're telling your clients something about you. They will use your price to assess how good you are. If you want to know what I charge, I mean, I'm not going to go into it here, but if you really want to know, drop me a message and ask me. But what I charge really has no bearing on what you should charge. Different instruments, different amounts of time taken to it. If someone wants an 80s sax solo for 8 bars, maybe that's a different fee to somebody who wants a whole arrangement of acoustic fingerstyle guitars for their soundtrack that they've written. Maybe, you know, there's a difference in levels of experience, there's different levels of ability. So what I charge has really got no bearing on what you should charge. So at the point at which you're discussing fee, you need to also be discussing the piece itself. You need to hear the track, get them to send it to you. And this is really important. Get some references of what kind of thing it is they're looking for. Get as much info about what it is, what kind of vibe it is they want from your performance. That's going to prevent, or hopefully go some way towards preventing you doing all this work and then getting them sending it back and saying, I wanted something different. I've always been quite good at finding out from my clients what it is they look for and really insisting that they give it some thought. Unless they're explicitly, I just want another person to do something cool on it, in which case that usually works out pretty well. But highly recommend getting a proper brief from them, so that you have the best chance of, when you say, right, tomorrow afternoon I'm going to look at the track, tomorrow afternoon comes, you do it, you know what you're doing, bish bash bosh, get it out the door, get paid. That's what we want. So it's the day of the session, you've got to the point at which you're now about to record the guitars. Make a chart. Strongly advise, make a friggin' chart. Because, I mean, if you can remember stuff, if you can remember things really easily and you're great at that, maybe you don't need to do that. Certainly for me, I'm not very good at remembering. So I think I know it. I think I know how it goes, and then I'll miss it, and then I have to stop and I have to drop in. With charts, I can play the song from beginning to end. And if you're doubling up acoustic guitars or something like that, you just want to play it all the way through. You don't want to keep stopping and starting, especially if you're recording acoustic guitar with a microphone and you move around. You just want to get long takes that work for the whole track, ideally. So have a chart, have it where you can see it. The other benefit is if you have to make revisions the next day or a couple of days later, oh, thank you very much, I'm away at the moment, but I'll check it out at the weekend. They come back and say, yeah, that was fantastic, but can I have another guitar? Would you mind doing some bass on it? Then you dive under the desk, get the chart out, you've got it there. Okay, so when it goes badly wrong, luckily it doesn't seem to go wrong very often. And I've had some clients where I thought they weren't going to pay me or that they were going to be a pain, and they were actually, there was no problem at all. But yeah, I had a couple of people over the years who've heard it and then just disappeared and not come back. Now, I could take that to mean that they just thought it was so bad that they didn't want to get in touch to say no thank you. But I don't think that's the case, because probably half the sessions I do are people who I've done one thing for already and then they come back. This is why you don't charge 50 quid for a session. If you're not earning sufficient money from doing this, the fun of it is going to evaporate extremely quickly, and you'll get to the point probably where you're like, I don't even want to do it. I charged a higher fee from the very start of it. When I first built the website, I was like, I'm going to put that amount and see what I get. And those are the clients that you get. Sorry about the siren. That's they're just arresting somebody who offered to do a guitars on an EP for 30 quid a track. What do we like about doing online sessions? It's quite rewarding. It's nice when you send something off to somebody, you're pretty happy with it, or you've done it really quickly and you're like, this is easy for me. You send it off and they're like, I love it. It's like, you really brought it to life, John. That is very rewarding and it feels great. And then you get that PayPal payment comes through, or a bank transfer, and you're like, that was great. Like, on the subject of how much time you spend on it, that is a how long is a piece of string thing. But don't overthink. Unless someone is like, I really want you to be incredibly innovative, I wouldn't start, and I used to do this all the time, I'd like be multing guitars like through software amps, through real amplifiers, recording DIs. I don't do any of that anymore unless the client asks for it. I keep it very, very simple. good guitar, played well through a good amp or good amp sim. In my case, it would be the Kemper. I wouldn't recommend anything else really. The simple parts are the ones that work. Layering up too many guitars, another common mistake. Don't do that. If they want 8, 9, 10, 12 guitars, they'll ask you for it, but no one does, and you end up with just a mush of tracks. I'm going off on a tangent here. Right, so you've done the session, it sounds good. Talk to the client, ask them if they'll send you the mix. Hey, I'd love to hear the mix when you send it through. Will you send it through? I'd love to hear how it comes out. Find out what of your guitar parts they used. Did they use all of it? Did they cut bits out? That will be potentially useful information. That's a kind of a review of your work. So I recommend you do that. Do you mind if I put it on my show reel? Keep adding to that. And however, you know what I'm saying, don't work for 50 quid. Do work for free if it's a favour for somebody and the quality is going to be great, because then you can put that on your show reel, hopefully. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos. Not quite sure why. Initially, I had a project with a TV company that came in maybe a month ago, or came in a bit before that. But I had to learn. They were making a series of documentary programs about guitar, about songs, and they wanted a guitarist to play some bits and talk about it a bit. And this became a bit more of a thing than I was thinking. So I had to learn quite a range of guitar parts for a bunch of classic tracks, and then think about what I was going to say. Cameraman came here, all COVID secure, masks and stuff, and we filmed in the studio here. So that's coming out sometime this year. I can't really say anything else about it at this point. No. But what that did is it totally distracted me from doing these videos, and I found myself thinking, oh, I haven't done a video for a couple of weeks now. I better do something really good and get the camera out. I've got a new camera, by the way, and there's a lens that's just arrived too. I just had the email about it. I'm so excited. Photography and video is turning me on so much now. I'm much more interested in this than I am about music. Now I can't stop thinking about this lens that's sitting down in the porch waiting for me to go and get it. If you're going to make some guitar tracks for people, you're worth charging a decent fee for. Communicate with your clients. Become friends with them if that's appropriate, if it feels right, because they will come back to you. If you do a good job, they'll come back. I worked this out the other day. At least half my clients, more than half my clients, have come back to me for more than one track. So it's not about attracting a million new clients, it's just about the ones who will keep coming back to you because you're doing a good job. And if you work hard on it and really put a lot of effort into the recordings, you can do that. But charge accordingly, enjoy, and I will catch you in the next one. If there's anything you want to know about, if there's any aspect of this that I haven't covered or that you're interested in, let me know down below. Okay, bye.